Okay, now let's take a look at scientific notation, and we're going to write these first ones in scientific notation. Remember, if we have a very small number, we are going to have a negative exponent. So we're going to move our decimal once behind the 5 because our coefficient needs to be from 1 up to 10 and not 10 or more. So that is 5 times, and I move my decimal once to the right, so it's -1. The next one we're going to move until we get between the 2 and the 3. So our coefficient is going to be 2.3 times 10, and we're going to move it once, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and it's -5 because we have a small number. That should be a 5. Next, we have this decimal, and we're going to move it until we get to here. So we're moving it 1 and 2. So it's 1.6 times 10 to the -2. Next, we are going to move the decimal to here. And so we have our coefficient 1.51 times 10 to the negative, and we move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so -6. Now let's take a look at some larger numbers. So we'll have a positive exponent. So we're going to have 4.6, moving our decimal right here. So we move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So times 10 to the 9th. On our next one, we're moving the decimal here. So our coefficient is 1.59 times 10, and we're moving it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to the power of 13. So our coefficient is 9.296 times 10, and we're moving it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On 7, it looks as though this is in scientific notation, but this coefficient is 10 or more, and that's not what we're supposed to have. So we're going to make an adjustment, and we're going to say it should be 2.8. So I went down on the left side, so I must increase the right side. Since I moved it once, I'm adjust my exponent up 1. On 8, the lightest atom, hydrogen, weighs 1.7 times 10 to the 24th grams. We want to know how many 8 of the atoms weigh. So we're going to just multiply 8 times our coefficient. And then we have times 10 to the 24th. So we're going to multiply 1.7. Remember, we're not using calculators in this unit. 7 times 8 is 56. 8 times 1 plus 5 is 13. We have 1 decimal place, so it's right here. So we have 13.6 times 10 to the 24th. 13 is too large, and so we're going to make an adjustment. We're going to go down on the left and up on the right, giving us 1.36 times 10 to the 25th. The next ones we're going to multiply. So with multiplication, you simply multiply the coefficients. And then when you multiply these like powers, you're going to use the product rule. So we have 2.5 times 3. That's going to be 7.5 times 10. And we're going to add our exponents to the 13th. And 7.5 is proper scientific notation. The next one, we're going to multiply 3 times 7 and get 21. We're going to add the exponents of the powers of 10, and -9 plus 4 gives us -5. Let's make our adjustment. So we're going to decrease on the left, and we're going to increase on the right. 7.1 times 5, so 7.1. Oops, that should be a 1 here. 7.1 times 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 7 is 35. And we move the digit once because it's 1 here. So we're going to have 35.3 times 10, and 4 plus -1 is 3. Let's make our adjustments. And we're going to have 3.53 times 10 to the 4th. The next one, Lola, no ma'am. And so we're going to multiply our coefficients. So I'll have to excuse my dog. And so we have 8.5 times 6. So 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 8 is 48 plus 3. So we're going to have 5.1. Whoops, excuse me. We haven't made our adjustment yet. So we have 51 times 10 to the -3rd. Now we're going to make our adjustment. We're going to go down here and up here. So 5.1 times 10 to the -2. We're going to divide, and you just divide coefficients. And then now we're going to use the quotient rule. So 15 divided by 3 is 5 times 10. 11 minus 3 is 8, and it's written in correct notation. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5 times 10. 2 minus 9 is -7. Now when we add, we have to have the same power of 10. So I'm always going to adjust the smaller one. So we're going to make this 10 to the 5th. So since I made this, I moved this up 2 exponents, I'm going to move my decimal down 2. So I'm going to go to the left, and I'm going to have 0.03. I moved it 1 and 2. And then it's times 10 to the 5th plus our 4.2 times 10 to the 5th. So we're going to have 4.2 plus 0.03, and that gives us 4.23 times 10 to the 5th. Here I'm going to adjust this 2 and make it 10 to the 4th, and then I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the left, and then we're going to add the coefficients and then just bring over. We're going to bring over the power of 10 to the 4th. So we have 7.2 plus 0.805. Put in a few zeros here. Line up decimal, 7.2805. And then, so let's write that out. 7.2805 times 10 to the 4th. Okay, let's subtract. It's the same idea with adding. We have to have, so on the first one, we do have the same power. So now we're just going to multiply 6.8 minus 4. That gives us 2.8. So we have 2.8 times 10 to the 5th. On our next one, we're going to adjust this and make it 10 to the 4th. And so we're going to move our decimal and have 0.0805. We have our 7.2 times 10 to the 4th, and we're subtracting. And it would really help if we put those in parentheses. So we have 7.200, and we're going to subtract 0.0805. So we're going to borrow all the way across. And so this is going to become a 10. This will be a 9, and that becomes the 1. So 5 from 10 is 5. 9 minus 0 is 9. 9 minus 8 is 1. 1 minus 0 is 1. And we have a 7. So we have 7.1195 times 10 to the 4th. Wowzer, what a problem. Okay, we're just going to make adjustments. This is going to be 1.25 times 10, so I went down. We're going to go up, and so that's going to be the fifth. Here we're going to 8.391 times 10. So this time I went down, but I went down, I had to move it 1 and 2, so I'm going to go up 2 to 9. Here I have 8.24. I went down, and now we need to increase over on the right. We just moved the decimal once, so I'm going to go up to -4. Here I'm moving the decimal 2 times, 9.31. So I went down twice. So I'm going to go up twice here. So that puts it at -3. Here I'm going to go up on the left. So we're going to go down on the right. We're to go up, moving it 1, 2, 3. I have 3 times 10. So I went up 3. I want to go down 3 here to the power of 2. Here I'm going to go up, moving it once. So here I'm going to go down to -3. Here we're going to move it 1, 2, 3. So we're going up by moving the decimal 3 times. So we're going to go down by 3 exponents to -11. So the diameter of a pink cell is this, and the diameter of a blue cell is this. What is the sum of the two cells together? So we have 3.2 times 10 to the -5, and we're adding these, and then we have 7 times 10 to the -6. So we want to increase this to -5. So I'm going to increase this side, decrease this side, and we're going to combine 3.2 plus 0.7. That's 3.9. So we have 3.9 times 10 to the -5th. So Tracy traveled this much and Stacy traveled this much. How many they traveled together? So we're going to adjust this to a 7. So we're going to have 10 to the 7th. And so I have to decrease this side by moving it twice. And so we're going to combine 6.93 plus 0.08. And that gives us 3 plus 8 is 11. 1 plus 9 is 10. And 7. So 7.01 times 10 to the power of 7. How many more miles? So now we're just going to subtract. So we already have the coefficient 6.93 minus 0.08. We're going to borrow from the 9, and that's going to give us 5. And that made that an 8. So 85 and then 6. So we have 6.85 times 10 to the 7. So how much do they measure together? So we're just going to make an adjustment here. I'm going to increase this to -6. So if I increase this, I got to decrease this. So this is 0.804 times 10 to the -6. So we're going to have 5.99, and we're going to add 0.804. So we have 6.794, and it was times 10 to the -6. So now we're going to find the difference. We already have our coefficient, so that's nice. So we're going to borrow, get that an 8, that's a 10, that's 6.815. So 5.186 times 10 to the -6. A computer can perform this many calculations per second. How many calculations can this computer in 1 minute? So we have to multiply 4.66, that's per second, and we want 60 seconds because 1 minute. So of course we have zeros across. Space holder, 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 6, 36 plus 3, 39. That's going to give us 24 plus 3 is 27. And we have 2 decimals. So we have 279.6 times 10 to the 8th, but we have to adjust. So we're going to go down here twice. So we have to go up here twice. So that's 10 to the 10th. We get 2.796. So let me just erase that, make that a little bit better. 10 to the 10th. So here we have Lake Superior has roughly 25 times the volume of Lake Erie. If the volume of Lake Superior is approximately, what is the approximate volume of Lake Erie? So Lake Superior has roughly 25 times the volume, and we know Superior, so we're trying to find what Erie is. And so if this is Lake Superior, and it's more than, so we just need to divide. Okay, so we're going to have 1.22 divided by 25. So let's divide 25 into, and so we have our decimal there. So we're going to say 25. It can't go into 1 or 12. And 25 into 100, of course, is 4. That makes 100. Subtract, bring down a 0. 25 into 220, that's going to be 8. Subtract, and then 25 is 8. So we have 0.0488 times 10 to the 4th. We're going to tweak it. We're going to go up 1 and 2. So we're going to go down here. So 4.88 times 10 to, then we're going down to second. Okay? So the body of a 150-pound person contains 2.3 times 10. And then we're going to have to erase that just a little bit. Can't see that. 10 to the negative 4th pounds of copper. How much copper is contained in the bodies of 1,200 such people? So we're just going to multiply. So we just had to multiply 1,200 times 2.3. If I can read that. And then we have 1 decimal space here. So we have 2,760 times 10 to the negative 4. So we need to move the decimal 3 times to make it go down. So 2.76. And so since I went down here, I have to go up 3. So that's going to put us at negative 1. Okay, now a park is 5.6 times 10 to the 4th meters long. Let me erase this a little bit. And 8.3 times 10 to the 3rd meters wide was the area. So again, we're just multiplying. So we have 5.6 times 10 to the 4th times 8.3 times 10 to the 3rd. We're going to multiply 5.6 and 8.3. It's going to be 18. That's 15, 16. 8 times 6 is 48. That's 40 plus 4. That's 44. So we have 4,648 times 10, and we add our exponents, 7. So it's going to be 4.648 times 10. So I made an adjustment. I went down here on this side. So I have to go up here, and I moved it 1, 2, 3. So I have to go up 3. Okay, guys, almost there. So the petri dish contains this much bacteria. Dr. Cheatham wants to divide them into groups of 2.12 times 10 to the 7. How many groups are there? So we're simply just going to divide. So we're going to divide. So the top goes in the box. And then we have 8.48. We have to move the decimal twice. So we move it twice here. So it looks like it's what? 4. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. And 4 times, yes. So it's going to be 4, and then it's times 10 to the 7th, which is just 1. So, and 4 times 1 is 1. California has a population of about this much. The United States has a population about this much. About how many times greater is the population of the U.S.? So we're going to divide 3 times 10 to the 8th over 4 times 10 to the 7th. So we're going to say 4 divided into 3. So 4 into 3 is 0. 4 into 30 goes 7. That's 28. 4 into 20 is 5. So we have 0.75 times 10. We're going to subtract. 8 minus 7 is 1. We'll make our adjustments 7.5. So we go up here and we go down here. So that would be 10 to the 0, which is just 1. So we can just say 7.5. And